So in the series of learning C programming, we are discussing classification of functions in C. We have discussed two classification, like a function with no argument, no return type, a function with no argument but with return type. So here we will discuss the third classification of the function, that is a function with argument but no return type, means without return type. That we will discuss in this video, right? We will take the same example, addition of two number. I am taking the same example in all the four categories. Why? Because you will get a better understanding if I take the same example. You will get to know the difference clearly with these, with one example, same example, the difference between the four classifications. Otherwise, you can take different example and you can try out different program also, like addition, subtraction, number is prime or not, these kind of programs. I will give you some assignment also after this video. So that thing we will discuss here with proper program, and I will show you practical also on my laptop, right? But before that, just want to tell you one thing. If you are looking for a great career in software development, then you must think about the aspects like what's trending in the industry, the questions being asked in the interview, what's the thought process behind the great application like Amazon, Zomato, Ola, how to improve your CodeChef ranking. So here Unacademy brings you a platform where you can watch weekly shows which you can watch live, and the host of these shows are 7-star coders on CodeChef and are working in some of the top companies like LinkedIn, Google, Amazon, Flipkart, and having years of experience. So they will be covering the content which would be really helpful for you, like in the live episodes you get an opportunity to ask tech HRs about the top 20 questions and the industry leaders about the recruitment process in top startups and MNCs, what is the eligibility criteria and how to apply for them and how they build the great products. Not only this, you can also participate into mock interviews and you can learn courses on programming languages, cloud computing, blockchain and crypto, tech aspects of digital marketing, data analytics. And there is one more show where on weekly basis Puneet will host an interesting story like a show that takes the learner on an entire design process journey from user to building a solution. He'll conduct practical activities as well as take learners through the process of building great design products like Unacademy, Zomato and Google in a storytelling format. So everyone who wants to get into designing, this show is definitely for you. So the details of this show and the batch you will find in the link that I'll put in the description box of this video. And don't forget to use my code JKL10 to get 10% extra discount on your subscription. So now let's discuss this classification of function with argument, without return type. So in general, what you will write, suppose fun in a function name with argument. So argument we are going to pass here in these brackets. So how many number of arguments you want to pass? You have to just give. In declaration, see, if you are declaring a function, in declaration what you will write, you just have to specify the data type of those arguments. Suppose I am doing sum of two number, I want to write a function of doing sum of two number. So I want to pass two argument, and data type I know, data type should be integer, or maybe I can take one is int, one is float, or maybe I can take both should be float. That's up to you. So suppose I am taking int data type. So here you can write down data type int comma int, two data type. In declaration, no need to specify the variable int a, int b. That is in declaration only, right? And here without return type means return type is nothing. It is not going to return anything. So nothing means void. That's it. This is what a declaration. In declaration, here you just have to specify the data type of the arguments and how many arguments. Just separate out the arguments by comma. If 3 argument, comma, int, and both are of data type int. That's it. In definition part, what you will do, suppose this is the declaration. So when you are defining, return type is void, function name is fun. Now in definition, the data type should match int, and here you have to specify the name of the variable a, b, x, y, m, n, up to you. You can take any variable name. So I am taking here x, comma, int, y, and here you can write down the logic, right? And how you call this function? No return type while calling, only the function name and the number of argument you want to pass. Suppose I want to pass directly value 5, 7, that is also fine. Or here you want to pass like some variable a, b, and a, b values you have specified like in main function int a is equal to 5, b is equal to 7, or you can ask from the user also, right? That we will discuss with the proper program. That is function calling. Here simple pass the argument, maybe the variable name or the number. If you are passing the variable name, no need to specify here the data type. but you have to specify the name of the variable. Here data type is must, name of the variable is optional. Here data type, both data type and name of the variable are must in definition. So, I hope this difference is clear. Now, let us take that example, sum of two numbers. So, first of all, what better after writing directly the header file, whatever function you want to use, first of all, it is a good practice to always declare that function first in that program, right? It is a good practice always. So, nothing it would return, name is sum I am taking, and I want to do a sum of two numbers of float type. So, that is declaration, you have to specify the data type only, right. Now, suppose in main function I am calling this, I am calling sum, and this thing we will discuss later. First of all, let me write down the definition part here. This code we will write down later. So, I am writing here in definition, return type is same, sum, and here, sorry, it should be float and float. Float x comma float y, no semicolon here, right? Or you can take int float, but if you take here int and here float, then here also the order should match. The first parameter should be int, second should be float. If you will take first float, second int, then it will give error. So, this ordering should match, right? Now, and in the definition and here in the declaration, these are known as parameter. In the function calling, these are known as argument. Parameters are also known as formal parameter, arguments are also known as actual parameter, right? These terms are very important and very confusing. So, now see, is it necessary here to take two variable like int a, b and ask from the user printf, enter value of a and b and scanf? No need. Why? Because already we are accepting two argument, means whenever we call the function, there we will pass the argument and the value would be received here. We have to do sum of these two numbers. So, we do not have to take from the user. So, no need to declare any variable here, because we have already taken the value. So, here what you will write? Just the logic. Logic is what? I am taking suppose a variable s is equal to variable name are x plus y, but here s is what? Local variable. So, here s you have to declare, s is equal to 0, s means sum, and it is not returning anything without return type. So, here only we are going to print sum is equal to percentage d, sorry, not percentage d, both should be float. So, sum should be float. So, here we should write float, right. So, percentage f and name of the variable is s, right, and that is it. So, now how to call this function? Here I want to pass two values, either you can pass static values or you can you can declare the values here, you can fix the values here like 2.1, 3.1. So, in x what value would be there? 2.1. Whenever you call the function, in y it should be 3.1. So, whatever the sum it will print, but I do not want to fix these values. I want the user should enter, whenever we run the program it should ask enter two values. So, user should enter. So, here what you can say, we can take two variables a comma b, and here printf we can ask from the user enter values of a and b, and with scanf what we can do? Percentage f, because both are float, address of a, address of b, and here after this simply you can call the function sum, and what argument you will pass here? A and b, a comma b, the variable name, right, that is it. And now see, here also you can take x, y, or both can be same, a, b, here also. It is not like you will get any error or any warning message. Why so? Because these a and b, these variables are local to this function, right, and these a and b are local to this main, right. Maybe see, obviously this is your house, this is your neighbor house. In your house also maybe two kids having name Rohan and Mohan, and your neighbor house also two kids Rohan and Mohan. So is there any problem? No, because they are in your house and those two kids are in their house. So there will be no problem. Scope is your house and means their house. So that is, you can say the house of these two A and B are this, and the house of these two variables are this. But you have to, be very careful while taking the same variable name. You have to identify like these A, B and B are we are using in this sum, these A and B are for this mean. So if you are a learner, if you have started programming, then better to take different variable name just to differentiate. Otherwise you can take same also, right? And now see, whenever you run this code, then first of all function control will go to the main function. In main, memory would be allocated. Suppose this memory has been allocated to this main, because in main also we will declare some variable and all. So A and B, two variable, A and B, some space has been allocated, right? Enter A and B. Suppose I have entered float value 5.1 and 1.1. So that should be stored here. Now here A value is 5.1 and B value is 1.1. So now function calling. So whenever control will go to here, now it is function call, so it will search for the definition of the function. Now match with this declaration, return type matching sum, same. Number of argument 2, yes. Data type of the argument float, yes, matching. So now no problem. Now enter here. So now some memory would be also allocated to this function sum. This is what called function, main is calling function. Now here we have float s. So s is a variable having value 0. S is equal to x plus y. Now see, whenever you call this function, what value would be passed? In A we have 5.1 and B we have 1.1. So actually the values are going to pass. So now in x we have, here also in this also we have two variable these. One is s and we have two variable also x and y. So x and y. So in x we have 5.1 and in y it is going to receive the value of b, that is 1.1. So now whatever the sum that would be stored in s, sum is what? 6.2 means 6.2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because percentage f is going to print what? How many digits after decimal? 6. So it will print this thing, printf this. Now control will reach the closing braces. Closing braces means back to the where you have called this function. Here we have called this function, means it's return, void return. It's not returning anything, but this will act as return statement, means void return. So here done. Now next statement is closing braces of main, means once control will go here, this will be vanished. This memory has been freed. Now this x and y, we cannot use these x and y and sum within this main. Here you cannot write printf percentage f x or y. We cannot print, because out of this sum they are nothing. Now these has been vanished, the memory has been freed. So now control will reach here. Now exit from the program and this also freed, memory has been freed, right? So this output you will get. Now maybe you are thinking how many argument we should pass, we don't know. So it depends on the program. If you are given that write down a program or write down a function which take one argument as input and check that number is even or odd, means in the program only they have specified you have to take one input as argument. So there you have to just specify one argument. So that is for assignment for you. You have to write down a function, right, which take one number as input, as argument, only one number, and you have to check that number is even or odd. You have to write down that function, means you have to write down obviously the complete program. That should fall in this category, means it will accept argument but it should not return anything. So that is assignment for you. You have to write down that program, right? And see here, if I suppose pass 3 argument, then what will happen? This thing I will show you practically, right? So now let me create a file. What we are discussing? With argument and without return type, right. Now here only, after header file only, I want to declare like void no return type means void and name is sum, and suppose I want to pass two argument float and float. Both should be return type, should be float for both the argument you pass, right. Now in main, what, just take two variable float x and y I am taking, and from the user I want to ask like enter x and y. So here we are using specifier what, percentage f, because we are taking the data type float x and y, and simply call sum, pass the argument x and y. That's it. Now you have to define void sum, and here what, data type is float, you have to specify data type as well as the name of the variable, like int ab I am taking here. You can take x5 also, right, but data type should be float only, because in declaration we have specified that the argument you will pass, that should be of float type, both the arguments. So here no need to take any local variables and ask from the user, because we have already taken the value of in the form of argument. Arguments are, function is what, it takes input, so these arguments will act as input, do some processing, whatever logic we will do, that is processing, and return some output, give you some output, right. So now here I am just taking one variable sum, because in S what I want to do a plus b, and simply printf you can write down sum is equal to percentage f and the variable name is s, and that's it. Now let me run this and see what output you will get. It should ask enter x and y, so we have to first of all enter two values. So I am taking float, so I am entering here 1.1 and 3.1. So the sum is 4.2 and after that 50 you have, right. And here if you don't want to take any like variable, so simply what you can do, in printf you just write down what, a plus b, that is also fine. See, now let me run this again. See, enter value of x and y, I am entering 4.3 and 6.7. See, 11.000 you are getting, so that is also fine, right. And here you, if you will take x and y, that is also fine. Here you can do x plus y, right. Now here if you pass, see here I am passing xy comma 8.1, 3 argument I want to pass, and let's run what is there. See, it giving error is what, too many argument to function sum. In line number 10, in line number 10 I am calling this too many arguments, ज़्यादा arguments हैं, because in the declaration we have specified it will accept only 2 argument, but actually we are passing 3 argument, so it will give error, right. And if you pass only x, see now that what will happen at that time. See, error is too few argument to function sum, means it according to the logic it should pass 2 argument, but you are passing only 1, means few argument you are passing. So here it is also giving error. So how many argument you have to pass, exactly what, how many arguments you have declared in the function declaration, 2 arguments, so x comma y. Rather than variable you can also pass here static value 3.1 comma 4.1. So see now what output you will get, and here x, it will ask enter x and y, I am and second argument I am passing suppose 10.3, but it will give some 7.2. Why? Because you have passed static value 3.1, 4.1. So in A and B, A will accept 3.1, B will receive 4.1. So that it will give sum of A and B. Whatever value you pass here in X and Y, whatever value you will enter, despite of that value it will give sum of 3.1 and 4.1, because you are passing static value. That is why here better to write down the name of the variable x comma y, right. So now one assignment for you is, another assignment is what? I have declared this sum something like this, int and float. So now according to this you have to write down this function, sum function, you have to modify this function, you have to try this at your own. So now that's it for this video now. So now we are left with the one classification, that is a function with argument and with return type, that we'll discuss in next video. So now I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care.